Hey, everybody, welcome back. I am so excited to talk about this episode today because I did an episode on how to prepare for 2025 as artist. And in this episode, I want to talk a little bit more on the fundraising for nonprofits. So, essentially, how to start a fundraising plan and grant writing for 2025, specifically for nonprofit organizations. And to give you a little bit of background, I am an artist and also do consulting with nonprofits in the state of North Carolina. And I help craft grant writing proposals for them. So anything around fundraising, anything around making sure that they have the strong opportunity to apply for grants wherever they are. That's something I do. In today's episode, I want to explore how we can set up some things to prepare for 2025 and give you some insight about how to write a grant or start thinking about fundraising and these kinds of goals for not only 2025, but beyond. I have been working with primarily Hispanic, Latino, Latinx surveying organizations, nonprofits since 2016. My career started when I was teaching Spanish in the high school. Ever since I transitioned to nonprofit and since 2016 to about 2020, started working for nonprofits here in North Carolina. And the information that I will give you essentially some of the things that I did when I was managing a lot of the programming. That's a little background about myself. What are some key steps that nonprofits can start taking at the start of the year to set a strong foundation for their annual goals? I think quarter one really needs to be set up with the fundraising strategy for your nonprofit. One of the biggest things that I always tell clients and work with them is the grant writing that I'm working with and writing for them is not happening in a vacuum. It's really happening in the whole organizational strategy of how to fundraise for this upcoming year. So that means having a lot of things in place, making sure that the whole nonprofit, the whole organization, the whole board is working together and is informed about where to find money and what money they want to fundraise for. Making sure that when nonprofits have all this information ready, it's really easy for me to come in and plug in my work into this larger piece of the puzzle. I have worked with organizations and nonprofits who normally may not have this bigger picture set in place. And oftentimes, what I have been doing with them is figure out this larger piece. And as a grant writer, it's really helpful to think about ways that we can begin to think about strategic planning for fundraising. I like to specialize more on the grant writing part. That'll be the biggest thing, making sure that the grant writer or anyone you want to work with has a strong foundation. Just to give you some background, what are the things that they may look like? One, what is your overall general fundraising goal for the year? Are you looking to bring in 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, $100,000? And not only what kind of fundraising, but also what kinds of grants you may be looking into applying. What kinds of campaigns are you trying to have? Um, Grants, I talked a little bit about this for me and my clients. A lot of the clients are busy during the spring and fall. So making sure that you already have a plan for some of the potential grants that you may be applying for in the upcoming year. So any foundations that normally give out a grant in a specific month, start preparing for that and making sure that you have one plan to apply for it, but also the hands to apply because it's not only grant writing, it's many other things. Think about what campaigns that you may be having. Are you asking for money during the beginning of the year as a start of the year's bringing new programs, or are you doing a middle of the year fundraising campaign or the end of the year fundraising campaign? So really having all these events, grants planned ahead of time will be helpful to essentially bring in a lot of the money that's out there. Now, I will not say that making a plan will bring in the money. There's so many factors to get a grant, to get people to give you money, that's another whole different topic. And I like to focus more on like can we do to start and being prepared. Think about the many ways you can start getting prepared for the fundraising goal of this year. I understand that this may be different for an organization or nonprofit starting out in the beginning of the year, or an organization that has $100,000 of operating budget, or organization that has over $1 million. I understand that these nonprofits are in different stages, and the fundraising plan will depend a lot on where the organization is, their level of preparation, their so many factors, so many things that need to be taken into account. So that'll be the biggest key step, how to prepare for a strong foundation of 2025 and beyond. If, as an artist, I want to ask, or rather pose a question about how can nonprofits serving communities interested in working with the arts create deeper engagement with artists, or how to invite artists to their programming. I talked a little bit about this, and I'd like to reiterate and also add a little bit more. I think the biggest things when we are creating to fundraise and create a fundraising plan, I would encourage you to think about how can you use the arts as a way to bring in potential money, whether it's through a donation or a grant. I will talk a little bit about some potential plans that you may be thinking about and plans I've thought about and experienced by working with nonprofits. Think about ways other people have been bringing in money. Some organizations that I know, they may bring in a fundraising for an auction for art. So they may be reaching out to artists to donate or to sell a painting. Think about possibly making an experience for artists to create a class or teach a class or workshop. That'll be the other one. So maybe having a potential project that you already have and bringing in an artist component or a painting component where people may be able to be there and have something new. So I think it's a fun and expressive way of bringing in the arts, just seeing people's eyes light up. So other than creating potential plans to incorporate the arts in your fundraising goals for 2025, my second thing as an artist would be to start building relationships with artists. It's such a crucial part of creating community. Think about art as a way to bring people together, bring people to your organization, and create opportunities for everyone to feel they are open to express what they are going through or any expression they may like to share with you. Think about ways you can start incorporating artists. It can be anyone wherever you live. You start inviting them to potential projects that you may have and say, hey, we have this upcoming exhibition. I was wondering if you were interested in creating some sort of piece and potentially participating. Make sure you have a budget for artists to work with you. So that'll be the second one. The third question, or the third topic that I'd like to pose, is how can nonprofits ensure the fundraising efforts remain aligned with programmatic goals and community needs throughout the year to align the arts into what you have already? Is to listen to what your community already needs and how you can incorporate the arts. I'm not saying that when you work with artists, you need to completely shuffle a lot of the things that you have in your organization or completely revamp a program that you already have. I'm saying think about ways that you can start using the arts in a way that people can feel that they have a more welcoming space. And I think that the more we build in relationships, the more people can begin to feel open to express a feeling, to express something, can likely deepen relationship. I want to thank you for joining me in this beginning of the year as I share a insight. Every new year presents new opportunities and an experience for growth. Thank you so much for staying and watching today's video. I wish you an amazing rest of your day.